I'd like to make a, yes,
I just got a note from Dax that he got six people.
that's okay. We have those. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
I'll second.
I'll approve. Well, we better have a discussion. Discussion? Okay. I don't think I seconded it. Oh, yeah, I had a second over here, but, yeah, open up for discussion.
No, not last week,
Oh,
or 2 weeks ago.
minor detail, but anyway. Susan, do you know?
You don't think you're second the agenda, is that what you're saying? Chris? The agenda approval? He says he didn't do that.
Second last meeting.
Well, some of us might have seconded it. Chris can't hear that he was seconded it.
So you want to go in the video if there's an issue? That's fine. I just want to... We can make a new motion to approve the minutes with a modification to make sure, to clarify who's second for meeting minutes.
Agenda.
Agenda, sorry. Well, I guess we got this one, so we got to disprove this one and kill it.
So we don't have to be that formal.
Okay, now.
Yeah, they're just a request in this approval that we're making sure that, we'll maybe go back and quickly check and see who was the second. It should be, I would think. Committee, think that's good enough?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll check that out. All right, and so approval of tonight's agenda. There's two basic kind of presentations tonight. Then we're gonna start doing some legwork.
So I would just ask a question, what's the agenda?
We have a presentation from what's the food service facility, and then Dax has some information, the summarization of what we have for that we came up with the list. We have,
I can't grab that, ask that for the agenda, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, no problem.
That's why I'm asking it. I see there was some information, which there always is, was requested, I just couldn't tell by looking at the agenda what the agenda actually was for tonight.
We were able to get that one, we weren't able to get the, I don't know if there was an actual document for Dax's presentation. We'll be running a little late tonight. Your committee requesting information will be Dax.
I'll move that we approve the agenda as written and then as described here in the meeting.
This is going to be super fun.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Yeah. You can talk up here if you want, or if you want, we can pull up under the agenda, there's the court's food storage presentation there. So they were kind enough to provide us with a PowerPoint to look over.
So is it, are you?
But you are on microphone.
Your mic goes to you.
No, that looks at everything.
I'm pretty loud. Not necessarily, if we didn't have a camera, I'd be fine. Okay, so We've been watching all of your guys' meetings, and we are very appreciative of the time that you guys are putting into this committee, and so we'd like to thank you for allowing us to come today. And we've been hearing a lot about having the extra facilities include cafeterias. But we also need to have some space for the food storage before it gets to the cafeteria. So this is just going to be a little bit about that. This is just showing where the buying priorities are, keeping all the food at safe temperatures at all times. We have a lot of strict rules about food safe temperatures, and some of our other priorities are having an efficient delivery system and being good stewards of public funding. Okay, so the current reality of our district. Then it just keeps going. Okay, this is a lot of information on one slide, but we can go through it quickly. And I'm not young enough to read it from here, so can you? Yes, thank you. Okay, so FSA is our main food vendor, the Food Services of America. Our orders from them are delivered on Mondays and Thursdays every week, and we have 2 huge USDA shipments once a month. American Produce delivers every Tuesday, and a fresh fruit and vegetable program for, we have the elementary school fresh fruit and vegetable program, where I don't know if you guys are, most of you probably know about that, where we deliver snack in the afternoon or to all the elementary age students. We currently have 2 temporary food units located at the ORTC. Even with these units, we still have to immediately deliver at least 2 pallets worth of product to the schools so they don't spoil, because we just don't have enough room in those 2 units. The refrigerators and freezers at each school currently only hold enough product for 1 day of meal service. The warehouse department must deliver milk and food produce to each school every day. We cannot offer fresh produce as often as we would like because we just don't have the space. Instead, we serve canned fruit and vegetables more often, which isn't terrible, but we could do better. The warehouse space we currently have used to be the bus garage, which is gas and oil permeated. We currently have just enough space to accommodate the orders we could currently place. We will get better pricing and variety if we were able to order pallets of certain food items at a time, but we don't have a place to currently store those pallets. We're serving an average of 1,500 breakfasts and 3,350 lunches a day. When I say average, that does not mean, that really isn't average. We are pushing more than that on a daily basis. Usually the number's higher than that on both breakfast and lunch. That's just your average, which includes like your very slow days, like the beginning of the start of school, we have lower numbers. Days after holidays, we have lower numbers. Party days, we have lower numbers because high school, middle school, especially the high school, so that would really affect those numbers. But that is our average, which I think are big numbers. And we anticipate an increase of 1,000 to 1,500 breakfasts per day next year because of the breakfast after the bell bill. This bill, if you guys aren't aware of it, requires that the school districts with, I think it's 70% free and reduced lunch rate, are required to serve breakfast after the start of the school day. So we currently serve breakfast before the day starts, then the bell rings, they go to class, and everybody's happy. Now the bell's going to ring for school to start, then we will have to serve. That breakfast does include, when we're serving it, it is instructional time, so it's not like we're going to extend our day, our school day, but we are going to be anticipating an increase of feeding lots more kids, because if you're in the classroom and the breakfast is free since we're on the community eligibility provision, then we're not expecting to see a lot of kids decline, at least at the elementary level, decline that breakfast, that meal, which is good because we want them to eat. So if you go down for me, that is a picture of where, that's the old bus garage where our dry storage currently is. That, you can see the FSA truck, the white truck there's delivering commodities, the big semi on the left. Yes?
Kayla,
Since we're talking about the dry storage and the bus garage, in the previous slide, you said that the bus garage is gas now permeated. Just since this is going out to the public, you're not saying that it's unsafe to house the food there?
No, and everything is there on pallets. Everything, if you see in the next picture, you will see that everything's up off the ground.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to make that clear for...
No, sorry, I guess it's gonna be that one, but this is just a couple of photos of the high school refrigerator area. And then the top left there is the, those are the two temporary freezer units. And then all three of those pictures, that's the inside of the bus garage area where, so you can see, it's up off the floor on pallets and it's not like, you know. It's all contained. Yeah, it's all contained, yeah. Yes, okay, so gap analysis. Sorry, I'm gonna get there with you. To fill the gap, we'd like to get another temporary unit that can be used, refrigerated instead of frozen until we have a permanent warehouse. We'd like to build or purchase a warehouse that can house all the food types, frozen, refrigerated, and dry, all at one location. Because we currently have all that frozen out there at the new bus garage and the dry at the old bus garage. So when they have to, if they're receiving from both people, now they're several miles apart. And we'd like to add a refrigerator or freezer or both units at each school to accommodate the food that we will need, even just the milk that we will need to provide breakfast for that many more students. We can keep going down. Additional program concerns are, well, breakfast after the bell, how we're going to implement that. Preschool needs as the preschool program grows, and our DOH kitchen is inadequate, and we're working on getting that up to snuff. If you can scroll down for me. Next level of work, we need a design team for a new warehouse facility, input from current staff for their needs, and a more central location to the schools than the ORTC, because that is quite a ways away. We try not to have emergent needs, like, oh shoot, we don't have our chicken patties for today. They didn't come in, SA's order was late, their truck was running off time, whatever it is. But when we do, they've got to drop everything and run them in. It'd be easier if they weren't so far. We go down, so we're going down to leadership voice. Okay. The most important thing is to keep the most important thing the most important thing. And our students are the most important thing. Eating a healthy breakfast before starting the school day is to improve concentration, better test scores, increased energy, a higher intake of vitamins and minerals, and even a healthier body weight. Breakfast is especially important for young students whose brains use up about half of the body's energy. I read that, that was pretty amazing to me, that your brain is using half of your energy for your whole body. That's incredible. And if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing and teaching them, then we're hoping to use a lot of energy. So we really want to make sure that our kids are getting good nutritious meals. The findings of a brief compiled by the Food Research and Action Center include how eating and not eating breakfast affects academics, brain function, and overall wellness. Children who do not eat breakfast at home or at school were less able to learn. Hunger can lead to lower math scores, attention problems, and behavior, emotional, and academic problems. And we just kind of feel that it's our mission to help with that, right, as a whole district, so keeping the most important thing the most important thing. So I guess that's what I have, if you have questions.
Breakfast after is that state or federal bill?
State. And it is required that we start next school year.
Intend it might increase 1,500 is the prediction.
Yes, that number, so if you look at it, numbers, that's still not our full enrollment number. I based that on what we saw an increase of this year. We've seen about 100 more breakfasts per school just going into the CEP program, which is great. We like that our kids are getting fed. It is bringing up challenges though, you know, how getting them fed in a timely manner, making sure there's enough room for them, busing them, making sure it's all timed right. But going into next year, we don't expect, well, the way we look at it is that the elementary will probably run in a slightly different program than the secondary school. So the secondary school will most likely have some kind of form of having breakfast before school like we do now, and then just offering like a second chance breakfast in between like a first and second period. As in a passing, maybe make that passing time 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. They can go through a kiosk on either end of the school, grab a pre-bagged breakfast that meets the reimbursable meal requirements, and they still have that option. So I don't see the increase going all the way up to what the elementary level will, but it could. But I, err on the side of,
Have you crunched the numbers yet for how much more square footage you will need for this central location?
no, that's above my pay grade. I have no idea what an engineer would need to make that happen. I mean, we could give numbers of how many pallets of everything that we would be anticipating, and then they could decide on that, but I don't know, personally.
Is there any areas that deal with the dining area that have room for a freezer/refrigerator cold storage section? Like, is there any space that's already available for it? No, nothing?
They barely have enough for daily food. It's tough.
No, there's no space for anything.
So, if you were to build it, is there potential space to build a little thing?
Oh, you mean like a...
Yeah, sorry.
So, you mean like I was talking to Greg earlier, and we were trying to figure out how we can get some kind of like external, like walk-in freezer kind of thing at each building, like, and put it on the back, like dock area of each of the elementary schools at least. I think the high school could probably manage a rotation in the refrigerator area that they have if we had to, but the elementaries definitely need something.
The issue with expansion at the schools is you have truck deliveries. So now you're bringing in semi-trucks at schools. Where if you go to a central housing unit, if we change our mindset, go to central housing, you get all your deliveries there, and then our smaller food trucks can deliver to the school. But it's not that it's not an option. It's just not an option that we were looking forward to.
So you're talking about a central location, where are you thinking?
I'm not. I don't know what kind of land holdings the district has at this time. I don't know if that's anything, if it would just be wherever the district decided, if the school board decided that that would be the best area for it, would just be a warehouse, and hopefully would hold cold, dry, and refrigerated so that we could get everything out of one location. I'm sure at that time the district would probably have some kind of shipping and receiving thing added onto that for other, like when we get furniture deliveries and stuff like that. I don't really think there's a location for that to happen at this time either. It might be all in one, I don't know. It's just looking ahead, to think of how you can most effectively use what you're already building.
Can you share what the goal is for the department on percentage of food served to students that would be dry storage versus frozen versus fresh? You know what that would be?
I don't, right now, gosh,
It would all depend, because when you're serving breakfast, we have to offer 4 items, lunch we have to offer 5, and it just depends on, what, there's so many things that we have to jump through. It would be really, I'm sure we could probably come up with something, but, just like for lunch, it's like, you have to have so many greens and so many reds when it comes to fruits and vegetables, and it depends on what we can bring in and what we can house as to what we can offer. So,
Yeah, I'm asking more about if, in the perfect world, what would you hope it would be? I know right now you're limited because you only have certain stores of certain types.
the only way I'd know is if we pulled off our invoices,
That's current though, right? I'm wondering what the goal would be. That's what I'm asking. Like, if you had all the storage you needed, what would you hope they would?
In a perfect world, if we had all the space we needed in every kind of storage, I think that we would like to increase our fresh fruit and vegetables and move away from canned and right now we serve a lot of fruit cups, which aren't bad, but fruit cups, that has processed. I don't want to be like, oh, it's horrible, but, and then we could use those things more in the winter time when it's out of season, but the more time where we do have in season, we'd like to be feeding, apples and bananas and oranges and kiwis and,
And do we work with local farmers for getting our fresh fruits and vegetables?
We work with American Produce, and they do everything they can. Everything comes from Washington.
We can't go outside the co-op, can we? When it comes to that stuff, we have to purchase within, don't we?
But there's a criteria that they have to meet. So far, no one right here, no fellow, has met that criteria.
we also have a provision called Buy America provision where we are not allowed to serve fresh fruit and vegetable, allowed to purchase it outside of our country unless there's some kind of an extreme case like the lettuce issue that could happen. If we had no lettuce in the country, we could order from Mexico or wherever else we could get safe lettuce from, but only in those extreme cases we have to follow the Buy America provision.
But if we had somewhere where we could store, we would definitely, we could look into it. But most of the time when you're working locally, they want to have a contract with you that you say you are going to take, so many 1,000 pounds of their apples or carrots or whatever. But we would have to have a place to store that.
So that would be refrigerated though?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, most of it's going to be refrigeration and frozen.
On here it says build or purchase dry, frozen, and refrigerated storage. Isn't there providers in the area that could do that for us without having to buy or purchase or build?
You mean lease? Space?
Lease, rent?
Rent?
Do you mean like a Columbia Coal Store kind of thing?
Yeah. Have you looked at the avenues?
The last time we talked to Cold Store or Lineage, we didn't have enough product to make it worth their while.
Just to give you kind of an idea of how many meals we've served so far this school year, we've served 314,206 meals since the first day of school to today. That just kind of gives you an idea of the volume of food storage that we need. A crate of milk is like this, it's 50, we're going, what did I say, 1,500 breakfasts a day, that's the milk for breakfast, then we've got 3,300, or whatever the number was I said, at lunch. So that's how many crates of milk every single day. That's a lot of moving, that's a lot of handling, that's a lot of delivering, and that's just the milk. We have to offer a lot of other items at every single meal, so.
And it has an expiration date.
Yeah, it's a lot of juggling,
100 crates
yeah.
a day.
A day.
100 crates a day.
It's a lot. It's a big deal.
That'd fill the state easy.
And it's spread out, it's not at one location.
Yeah. It's got to go here and here and here and here.
How many vans?
We have 3 food trucks right now.
One of the things the question I had was not on site, like as in like a big cold storage, but just for like the milk situation alone.
Cooler space? Cooler space.
Yeah, like a cooler, do we have any of those small cooler spaces on every site? No?
We have a small walk-in freezer and a small walk-in cooler at each site.
Well, yes, that's where it goes into the kitchen.
Huh?
Except for DOH.
Except for Desert
Yeah.
Oasis High School. But they weren't sized for anything more than what that school's needs are,
Yeah.
based on calculation of size of the students per school. So everything comes in on a big 40-foot truck. It's a full truck, And the reason we have 2 freezer containers is because you can't put both sides of, you can't fill it up with 2 pallets. We can only do one side, and then we have to down stack everything inside there from the other side, bring it out on hand trucks, load it in the trucks and deliver it throughout the month, and then we get another delivery in a month.
District's leasing, well,
We purchased those. They can be utilized as a freezer or a cooler.
We're currently using both of them as freezers,
That's
though.
one as freezers. We were utilizing one as a cooler for about 2 months and then switched back to a freezer.
Back to Chris's question, how long ago was it that, you asked Postor about potential?
Been a year or 2, 3.
Well, no, I actually went up there last fall, talked to them, and they basically, they didn't laugh at me, but they might as well. So they were not big enough. I mean, even with the additional, I mean, it has to be, you know, a lot more, before they even look at us. So,
So is there a certain tonnage limit that they would need?
Is each building's store or cold refrigerator storage the same?
No,
So like same size?
no,
No.
definitely not.
So when you guys, when Mojitos was designed or whatever, it was ours bigger?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Wahida's kitchen was designed bigger. At the time, I believe it was a thought we could make a fresh bread for all, the whole district out of that kitchen.
Yeah, we want to do a
When they
central
started the
bakery.
design.
I would like that.
So would we.
It would be charming. We did that at Cindy last year.
Any more questions? Any last words for us or anything? Anybody have any idea how many square feet you would need for milk for one day for all the schools?
Times how many did you say?
It's not even on pallets.
yes, I know, it is when we have a cooler to put it in, but right now, no.
No, 3 pallets, 4 pallets.
180 cases is usually what we get Tuesday and Friday. I mean, they do 3 pallets, but then we also, deliver, when we have the, we're able to put it in the cooler, they put 3 pallets in that, and they still brought a certain amount to junior high and high school. Just
Separated.
yes.
That's how many days a week? 2 days a week, so 8 pallets a week, give or take. Pallets 4 by 4.
Right now,
That would be like, thank you.
Yep,
currently.
currently.
So it's likely we could go up to 10 pallets by next year.
Well, we're doing that breakfast after.
Even possible, I'm saying we conservatively, at the low end of next year, we're looking at about 10 pallets.
we're not having a second place first. Probably get their trucks.
A lot of milk. Diabetes, 24 grams of sugar for $7. All right, thank you for doing the presentation. And our next one on the list, if you're ready. I can stall time if you need. So while Dax is getting ready for us real quick, after Dax presents, we have some numbers for us. I want us to, I didn't know who was going to be here today, so right now I'm going to start figuring out our groups. We'll get into groups. I'd like a representative for each school to kind of be the base, you know? And then I'd like to have like one community member in there, one administrator, or like board member, and kind of break it up evenly, kind of get a diverse group in each group, if that makes sense. So if anybody has any preference on what group.
So,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, just so we all know, I didn't wanna steal any of Dax's thunder, but I took a look at, Central Valley School District in Spokane, building a new high school. Just so you know, the budget for that high school is $105 million. And it's approximately the size that OHS, I mean, their school population is within 100 students of ours.
For the new school, not
For the new
the
school,
whole district.
not for the whole district. But just so you know, like, when we're starting to talk about numbers, that's roughly the cost of their new high school is about $105 million.
Yeah, you sent me that document.
Yeah.
Which was it, when I started? So I mean, like, group leaders.
My high school's all like, we should just build a high school.
Could I ask what the goal of the groups are? I'm sorry, I missed last week, so.
Okay, so what I want to have is, after we get our numbers, we'll go into individual groups, and we'll have we gotta create two different plans, so I figured the best idea is what we came up with last week was one K-8 program, and one K through 5 or K through 6.
Good.
Plan, based off of K-5, K-6 needs versus a K-8 needs. So that way, when I present to the board, we have two plans from two different perspectives, and what we feel is most important on those two lists. And we'll kind of all get back together after those groups. We'll go, okay, each group, your representative, tell us what you think needs to go on which list. Because who was it that brought up last week? The K-8 and K-6 are going to be, in terms of importance, how important it is based off of which way we go. So,
And we need to rank those based on like
important, yeah.
years, like what needs to have long-term.
It seems like mostly,
Long-term.
basically everything that we had last meeting was short-term, was in 1 to 5 basically. We might have a few, if you got a few long-terms, great.
Preschool, I don't even like substitute quickly, like if it's an emergency.
Yeah, no.
So is preschool somewhere in the picture at all, or is it just like only one?
Well, we had you represented up there,
A dedicated place for pre-K, that's what we put.
yeah,
That's what we want, that's what we're asking, is that.
yeah, we tried to get you represented. Even though I wasn't here, I had asked people I had said it on the meeting, if you want to email me anything.
Well, I have some, she had family emergency, that was something like the hospital.
The K-5 or K-6 would be different depending on which one that you picked, I think. I don't know.
So do we want?
How are middle school set up? Are we 6 through 8?
No, we're 7, 8.
We're 7, 8. Yeah, see, I went to a school where it was 7 to 12 in the same school, so it's...
And I know, so I don't know, maybe Heather could talk about how it's going at the elementary school and what maybe 6th grade would need if they were gonna stay there and stay that way, or if they were going to, you know,
Well, you assume you'd hope for some kind of permanent housing. I mean, ours was not bad, but in a perfect world, those 6th graders take up a lot of space.
right.
So maybe we need to have a third one, K-5 or K-6,
So
K-8.
I was just,
We can have more than one.
sorry, to comment.
You just moved that, they're already situated into their current K-6 building, so why would you, unless you're gonna go back to 6 to 8, you don't really need to move them, other than giving them a permanent housing rather than portable. I would see leave it at K-6 and then K-8, because the goal for the future is a K-8 in all schools, so I think those are your two. You're kind of taking steps backwards if you're gonna move 6th graders again. You already made room for them now, so leave them where they're at. Your question is like, how are you gonna get 7th grade to the elementary right now? So it's either, like, I know we're slowing down the process, so it's, I think having just K-6 and K-8, two options is really what you need, because they already fit where they're at right now. Not comfortably, but they are there and they're surviving.
Well, I just think we need to be cautious on how we talk about this, because if you worked at the middle school last year at one of the elementaries, as soon as this started talking, I mean, as soon as there was a discussion about people moving, the anxiety level ratcheted up. So if this group starts talking about that stuff when it's really kind of outside the purview of what this committee does, we're going to increase anxiety for the teachers and the students and the community. So we just need to be very careful on what language we use and how we talk about this, because we don't want to make problems bigger than they need to be. Does that make, do you understand what I'm saying on that? So,
I guess I was just wondering, just because it seems like if we stay K-6, then they might need some additional facilities because they are not getting technically what they should be getting. I guess what I was trying to say.
So should we keep it just a K8 and a K6 model for that, just that two, I think? Well, okay.
So, discussed last meeting.
Yeah, that's where we're, I don't wanna change it, so, okay, so the K6, K8, I'll start writing this. No worries, that's why we're having them, is that you get everything out there, air it out in last minute. Everybody gets a chance to talk, it's in the group. Dax, you almost ready?
Sure, I'm ready.
Okay. The floor is yours, and I'm gonna start grouping everybody.
In the last week, I received a copy of your board there, and what I hope this will work for tonight, but what I did was I attempted to put square footage to those pieces, and then put a cost per square foot for each of the individual items, so I can do the math pretty quickly and get there. There are some notes on the back of this handout that allude to installation. Has some rates over the next 4 years that aren't included in the cost per square foot. Also, soft costs would range between 28 and 35% of the construction costs per year. So you can add these up very quickly and do total project costs if you want, individual. I do have a couple of items that probably need to be clarified. One is the auditorium that was listed on there. Was there a target capacity for that? We had, the previous bond used about a 1,200 seat capacity for the auditorium. Is that about right, or too small?
That was only 1,200?
Well, I thought it was like 15.
Yeah.
Because we have 1,200 kids plus the staff and.
Right, so I think it was 1,500.
I think the idea was that you could have an all-school assembly, right?
Right.
Okay, so the square footage on this might need to be a little bit larger, because I had 1,000 to 1,200 on the previous program. Yeah, a little bit of that.
Thank you, Scott.
You know, I'm giving you the high range on the cost per square foot. There's kind of a low, middle, and a high range. If you want the lower range, you can, but this is conservative, not knowing how you might approach it, how you might bid it. If you bid it as packages or individual projects, where the additions are located, if there's infrastructure there, there's so many anomalies about taking it to the next level, but it should give you a basic idea of what the pieces might cost. Some others, main assumption on the Lucaga Cafe, new gym combo, kitchen aspects are being redone with that, etc. So there's a few others. I didn't know, you were talking to a little bit there as I came in, the new cold and dry storage. Didn't really have a size for that, or we were looking at really doing with that space, so I just gave a rough cost per square foot, and the same for UHS. You know, for fine. Just that, these out. Look at it. So can I ask one more question? What's the goal tonight with cost per square foot, a rough idea of square footage, putting the total cost to it, total construction cost? Just getting a sense of what it might cost.
There's not enough.
That's what exactly we're referring to, talking about. Yes.
That's everything including the project, that's not construction, architect, design, survey, IBC testing, project management, commissioning, value engineering, constructability review, contingencies, construction, design contingency, miscellaneous costs. Basically everything other than construction is done. And again, there's a range on that. It's 28 to 35%. We usually are below the 28%, but when you start doing individual small packages or projects, those tend to creep up because you don't have the economy of scale you might with larger projects. So as this scope is fine-tuned, I can break down the saw costs and have a detailed budget and estimate for the scope. Once it's simple, I can clarify when I get there quickly.
We have money for. We have money to go in that. But you were told that we can actually build for growth. That'll be the first time ever.
So am I doing this math right? That food report's way off on Jim, on what it costs to build a gym?
What's that?
Am I doing the math right? He's off by like, he was gonna build just a door or something? You're 5.4 million for a gym right here, right?
Which gym?
Competition gym.
He was talking about elementary school
Yeah,
gyms,
that's
I
just a
think.
elementary, this is a full competition gym with
Gotcha.
and locker rooms. Locker rooms are included in that as well.
It's only 2.2 million for his gym for the cargo.
Which is 1.5.
The Hiawatha one was 1.5, which is what the tutor, I think that's what Peter Crocker said. Yeah.
Oh, that one's got a kitchen space in it too.
Where is Jim at? I mean,
So, do you assuming showers in those
because the kitchen.
Yeah,
gyms? Plus, no, in the elementary.
I'm saying it's not going to work.
I asked that question specifically, I asked my son if they ever seen anyone shower in middle school.
Are they considered multi-purpose when we have the kitchen with, that gives delineation between, saying it's a gym and a commons, or commons, I don't know the difference between them.
Dax, did you get that question?
What are the definitions between gym, multi-purpose room, commons?
Just tell you, multi-purpose room usually is just something that you build, designed to use as multi-space. Like our wrestling room at the high school was designated as a multi-purpose room.
Okay.
For gym space and wrestling space.
Also referred to, and I assume that, you could do everything from have physical education in there, eat lunch, the floors prep for that, and they have for athletics, basketball, hoops in there, a variety of size for a small court. It's all what you wanna multi-use it, you can design around that. Could be as simple as, the right floor, and the right seating height, amenities to get more use out of it, or somebody use or evening use out of it, spaces like that.
So actually, just another question for you, Dax. Would it be, consider the fact that we have gym slash cafeteria commons right now,
So that can move it back
would it
to
be
the classroom.
more
There's
expensive,
a classroom than
more
it
cost per
is.
square foot to build a gym, or more cost per square foot to build a cafeteria? That's the big. That's what I'm asking.
So is that the, like the Ludicago, that's 450 per
That's
square
the
foot.
kitchen aspect of
That's
it.
the kitchen aspect, and the box for the gym is 300 square foot, it's like Hiawatha listed.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
So you separate it out on purpose so that there could be a determination of what the use was. I'm asking because in my mind, it seems like it would make more sense to try to expand and improve the current gym/cafeteria as a cafeteria, then build a gym separately, than to try to build a separate kitchen facility and all that. If we can improve within what we've got, that's
Right.
what I was asking.
Yeah, because it's way more money.
You're right, it's probably optimal, I guess it depends on what the program or demands, for. But, and there's use, and then there's optimal use,
Right.
And sometimes the more flexibility, well, obviously, flexibility you put into it, the cost can start, the curve starts to go up because you're doing some things that you normally wouldn't do, the basic columns, et cetera.
Square feet per classroom is based off of what, when you're talking about like what he...
Well, because I didn't know how they were tying into the buildings, I added, they're 900 or so. I added a little bit for circulation, just to, I didn't tie back to the building for restroom if it's warranted, for the addition, et cetera.
Hallway?
Yeah, next to the building. Oh, yeah. And if you were looking at a range of cost per square foot, as I know it scope, this is a higher range of the cost per square foot for current. Just did that because I don't have enough detail with a lot of it, so I made some assumptions to the right side instead of the left, so.
I would agree.
Like the high school general classrooms, probably middle row 250. The hospitals and 275.
You feeling on this sort of, safe to say that a gym includes soft costs, $2 million?
Which one? One of the
5,000 square foot elementary gym.
1.5.
That's what I'm saying, with soft cost though, the soft cost built into that 300.
What's some, what's going on?
No. With soft cost probably 2.
Like you've done.
That's this year. And then if you look at the back page, the escalation factors, there's some dramatic escalation this coming year, which is forecasted. Papers back to the 4% annual norm, which is basically 3 to 4% average over a 10-year period. We're definitely going to be seeing a spike in the
If we went to a 1,500 seat capacity, we're looking around 19,500 square feet for that ish. Sorry.
It's all right.
Should I ask earlier?
Not that much, a couple thousand more square feet.
Okay.
Because you're just talking about more room, bleacher, reproducing a lot of the space that's already there. Floor will be there, everything else will be there. You're just spinning and contracting for a larger bleacher.
So 17.5 would be a pretty, 17,500 square
I think it's
feet.
gonna give you.
Okay.
Your solid 1,250
When you
inch
can
floor,
start
so.
doing the building for girls. That's what you're asking me. What can you do on projected?
You have some now. But yeah, 2020 is probably the earliest you get it, if you passed it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that was a lot, or something that was being changed.
Let's see what you guys think.
I thought that's what we did
That's
last time.
towards the top. My work to think that.
Potentially.
We're gonna say steam.
So the only main one is what, and the house.
Let me clarify that, I might have misspoke earlier. The competition gym is out for 1,600. The auditorium size for 1,000 to 1,200.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
and then expanding the auditorium to the 1,500, let's say,
Exactly.
that would be the extra
Right.
couple thousand, okay.
So, yeah, the square footage is reflected for the gym or 1,600 capacity. The auditorium 1,200.
Well, it's not 105, is it 105?
But even if we didn't, it's still not 100.
No, but the difference is, if you broke that 105 million out by individual projects, it would be so much more. Because they're benefiting from, like, outside economies of scale, so.
Right. There's another
Well, and part of the cost is gonna be tying it into the existing budget.
Also, the way this is looked at, it's as if the pieces are being constructed individually at this point. So the gym, the auditorium, the auditorium's a separate project, the gym is just picking or choosing between them. Each cost per square foot are reflecting building an auditorium, one, building a gym, or not, kind of thing, standalone scenario. If you, as he just mentioned, if you put them into one package, which would be, if they're gonna be part of the scope, that's obviously what you're gonna wanna do. You get some economy of scale, but still it's not gonna be true. Does that make sense?
Even a percent
Running on
though.
numbers, but he's.
Yeah, it adds up pretty quickly. and-
Yes, it does.
Something like this.
It's almost 7 o'clock, can we get into groups and start hammering some of this out?
Yeah, Zoe,
I know, I mean, we've got a lot of work to do, and we've got the information in front of us, if we can move on, I would surely appreciate it.
we were a little running late tonight, and I appreciate our guests for coming here, because it's not easy to get someone to come in and answer any questions that one might have in here. So if everybody's done, we can do this in a little bit. Do you have any more questions that we might have for Dax? Dax, is there anything else last minute that you want to throw in there that might be of significance for us?
A little more information on unit tests on scope, size. Leave you there, because that is one. I don't know what to quantify square footage wise, so. Get on that item.
Anybody have any input?
Was there anything on the list that was DOHS specific?
Admin, story, or salary, Edel Road.
Oh, at DOHS?
Yeah, okay. So it says new construction office space, 300 square feet.
So I didn't quantify the square footage on
But
that.
that, we wouldn't know the kitchen.
The same with the pre-K dedicated space, whether that's new space or part of the modernization space, and how they just have the pre-K dedicated place, safety. So that's not quantified either. I gave a rough cost per square foot for what I thought it might be based on the other pre-K facilities.
What's our current cost guys right now for a portable per year that we rent, or is it cheaper to rent or to buy a portable at this point? Usually. Is it better to invest in buying one or renting one?
Depends. That's a philosophical question. Do you want to keep them here forever, or do you want to get rid of them?
But I would just say the most recent board decision was based on leasing being a better idea than purchase.
Okay, do you remember what your price was? Just, because it has to do with what I need to do on this, on the group one.
In the board
I
doc.
remember it was in the.
330 total for 3-year lease for 2 portables, right?
Yeah, I thought it was like a
Two doubles, right?
100,000 a year.
2 doubles, so it's like 100 a year for 4 classrooms. If you figure it by classroom.
I thought Lady Charlotte also had a multi-purpose room in it.
Okay. Split that in half. Any last questions for Dax before we get to groups? Thank you, Dax, for coming. I appreciate this list here. That's very helpful for the board and committee. I appreciate it. All right, so let's do, just to let you know who's all gonna show up. I'm thinking 3 groups. Does that work with you guys? And we're kind of big, 5 per group. I'm thinking elementary, pre-K, if you got your leaders here, middle school, and then high school. And then I'll start dividing up after I see what my numbers are, because I got 2 people that are one already left, and I got 1 leaving, so. Do you guys want to go ahead and just stand up here, that way I can kind of have these guys choose where they're going to go, and kind of get the spacing even for everybody. So Julie will be here. That's great. And then I'll try to get like an administrator in one of you guys' group. I'll try to get like I think right now we don't have much for middle school, so I'll definitely get you a board member. All right. So I can just go high school, middle school, elementary, pre-K. And we got elementary, pre-K, we're gonna have quite a few. All right, so we got high school? High school, middle school. And I'll just try to see what's up. And then members, the committee members, which, I'll get to what you guys want, that's, that's usually what I'm most interested in, how we're gonna kind of go. I just want to get a rough estimate of numbers real quick. It's like what I gotta do at DHS, I never know when my kids are gonna show up. Alright, so 1, we only got 1 there, 2 for the high school, we got Dr. Hurst there, 3, elementary, we got that, so, that's okay, we'll put them more on the elementary. So can I get 1 community member to go to the elementary, and then, maybe 1 board member? Sure. Whichever one of you want to go elementary. So 1 community member, and then, high school, I think since we got Dr. Hurst, 1 community member, and David?
Or do you want me with the middle school?
Okay, you want to go middle school?
I'm asking you what you want.
Yeah, that makes more sense, so David, Rob, you guys go ahead and join the middle school, and then you 2 like to be on the middle school? Okay. That'd be awesome. Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, and so then we can go to groups wherever you feel comfortable, and start hearing out what's the most important. Wherever you want to go. You guys want, what do you think, 7:30? 7:30, would that be enough time, or? I'll check with you at 7:30. One side for K6, one side for K.
Carlotta has nothing right for gym.
It's all the same.
Like the K-8 side?
K8's a gym.
I don't know.
So that's what we're doing. So K6 gym, but current gym.
K-6 needs a social class or the preschool needs to relocate.
Okay.
I figured we'd have a representative.
Seems like with all the gyms.
And that's one scenario, it would be all in one place until they be relocated anyways.
That's what I don't see for, right? I don't know what was our preschool stand, those were.
That would be the issue for.
I'm also going to think about
Yes,
short-term
it makes a difference. For instruction,
Come up with that discussion.
we need the ability to
Special problems, Robin, Simeon K-8 inspection, McFarland was a larger K-8 school.
Well, I thought
Made more
that,
sense if
ours was going to be
larger K-8 because grade level 900 students in that building is about.
I think the six rooms are because of how much growth with it.
Optimally.
Seven, like the
So,
grade and so.
control, you, that building, you never have to go outgrowing it.
Yeah, exactly. And our thing is when we find out to this family, like, we have so much of these difference in zoning and outcome against the place.
So if you start with high school, you have to work your way down. It's one of our pieces, right? All these things. I asked about the sections that they need and all the classroom.
Really, I 100%.
Times 4, that's 36.
Plus you need specials.
Honestly, what they're saying is like the fact that they can't operate it. I mean, they can't.
Our classrooms and classroom in PE. There's no computer lab. Computers in the classrooms. I don't understand the computer lab, to be honest. I know. Right now. So you're saying there's 36 classrooms inside, in the,
32 or 36 is what I remember.
There's 15.
Yeah, so as that remodel happens, you can add those classrooms in the same
And
place.
you got another 13 down the 300.
11 and 6.
So that'd be like, so my question is
So
up here in
that,
this.
so we said there was 15, now we're on 26, and then you've got 2, 4, 6, 8.
I mean, I don't know, but I know the problem.
You must have figured. I remember those two.
36 with, okay, so, right. So that, there's 34.
No, that's okay, that's okay.
But you consider 2 classrooms.
It's the one that's.
Right, if you looked at residential, 16 students, 6 classrooms.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Whatever the decision was, so you have to add 2 more classrooms per grade level. A certain grade level. UHS feet on that whole, is it going all the way, here's that alleyway? Yes, it goes all the way to that back. On the north side of that parking lot, the churches. Is that a gym or possible spot? Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. That's what I was meaning.
Water, sewer, you get salads.
No, classrooms would be said could be.
They go inside.
Remember, they're all temporary.
Maybe I'm trying to use your.
Concrete slab, you have to.
Oh, yeah, well, I sort of really got my competition, just, so much previous to it. That's what I think.
Class definition, K-2 or 2-3.
Like, you know, I think if we could just do it, we would look at it.
The smaller.
We need to be on things that we, if you know,
Six classrooms there, plus the 2 that are short overall anyway. So that's potentially a classroom addition. How many are we put?
Right, but then that doesn't include if you have any special education there.
There's a special classroom there.
There's 2 big classes. And then you have an ELL classroom, you've got high cap there, I mean, some of them. So,
Well, I also think
the lunch and.
Spanish speaking special ed students.
Because you have to share your locker room together.
I think they should cater for, provide your set out to elementary Spanish speaking, monolingual One of us is a language barrier that would help.
That's absolutely. But if you're talking like your life skills kids, which are still
So I'd say locker room would be.
They're probably gonna be as successful, no matter what.
but they're on the weed track and they have specialized, their physical needs outweigh their, they need specialized classrooms. More than they need specialized language instruction.
I want to put out there, it's a good problem. It's the only perspective of what was.
Maybe 10 classrooms short of them.
So the kids, the
And maybe they wonder why they would also, why, people would move so doing stuff. Now, that would increase the functionality of the kids. I'm just saying, you know,
Sorry, you're not willing anymore, so it's going to take years to change.
It's just now that it comes along and everybody at the same time,
Then the next year, I'm just going to, next year, it's about 7 million for part of feelings from kindergarten to hospital. We still have 25. Everyone else has 18, right? That's not fair. But I also understand, well, what's the program set up though too? And I think we need to use that. Teaching, I think there's other ways to do it without having now their teachers will help out the class. And that's still kind of the line that you should have money. But I think we need to pick up some blocks on this. You would ratio and so work within our
long-term stuff. You may not find one
somebody wants to go.
the back door and the
If we build them a classroom, they'll put an extra teacher there. If we house them with somebody else.
So that was our top priority.
I'm thinking outside the box. Probably not be in the gym. But
I'm willing to think outside the box. Not saying we have to add more classes.
I think
the space because weekends are down 2 hours because of electric. If you could somehow solve that. It's out there. I mean, out of the classroom.
I'm just a one,
Whereas our commons are,
25 student
like, the rest of the day,
we have maybe a teacher or whatever that, I don't know if that's optimal teachers either. If you hire someone, you know.
so you think that space
Not to get off track, this is.
And he said this
We're talking about facilities here, so.
like things like, janitorial stuff, like.
In my opinion, I need high schools to relocate enough to get
How you sell that, you know, we have many buildings and empty classrooms.
You get rid of
You bring 6 classrooms in for that.
you didn't need residents in there. No, but I'm not saying that there's going back to the areas on both sides, like one, the first one is going to move back, like some of them. Even if you didn't take
Board of Seating, probably 3 to 4 years.
What we're saying, automatically be used, we put one in the library out, now we're down to, we're still left with 4 that are.
Here's how much still have people in here,
Yes.
Like we have an office in a science lab. You know, that is, the one is, change that, and then that, and the other side, we've got admin space.
There's 770 grades. That's 250 kids. Less than what that school's built. 200.
well, we will hire them.
We're at Howard, there's something else to add. I just had a big.
But also, like, what the other option is even
Do a presentation of kindergarten.
The idea is if you build it.
say case 6, the only thing I consider bringing 9th grade down, but then you're
What's the current?
you haven't done anything, it's a problem. Because now we're going from 700 to 1,000.
I can't even envision it. It's small. It's tiny, isn't it? It's short, like,
And then,
all of it, and all of it.
that would be
I'm not finding. I like that for somebody to try to walk in his backyard. That's what I thought was happening. Well, because it was
Does moving forward, K grade.
Oh, the music in classroom.
Moving forward, K grade.
So that's why I didn't know, it's easier to reconfigure adding on a lunchroom, multi-purpose area versus putting a gym.
Minus the square foot of students the next day. It's not just one great big room.
probably the classrooms are redone to science.
Gym, you're gonna get 5,000 square feet, multi-purpose space, trying to get 40,000.
But the needs around 7th and 8th grade science are.
Right, but I'm saying,
Yeah, they need tile chemicals they use, they can't have sinks and eye washes, and I mean, all of those regulations.
And then the pools, place the lunchroom.
yes, currently we use that to.
So you wouldn't change the kitchens that way.
Your multi-purpose room is your cafeteria.
Yes.
When I look at it, in my mind, that's what you're doing all these schooling archeries.
But we don't have our stuff, you know what I mean, like, our stuff is not, design and
You could use the multi-purpose. Yeah, even in the room, right here, that's right now, the left. But I can say, we're not to do that, this space, it's not envisioning. When I was in Island, or for last time, it was not.
That was from McFarland.
And like it was a lot smaller than that. But that way, like the one so David shows that you then utilize it with the rolling walls. So you could reconfigure it when it was going to be out of the box that 5th grade had art for a semester, and then change it and reconfigure it with kindergarten with getting our science for something like that.
Renovated that classroom, 25 square foot. That's gonna be.
But would that be, so why would that space be more expensive than
To
that
get your
space?
wash
Why?
things and stuff in the way you need.
Different walls, those gyms have that doors.
Like a chemical hood.
But it says it's more expensive to do the
So if they do, they have
It's
storage.
even more expensive than
They have to
milk
figure out.
350 versus 300.
Chemical
The
storage.
gym, the gym's
But it doesn't, you need to have regular.
Pictures at all, or? You guys have pictures? Yeah. I think I'm just. They thought it was
They don't have any preference for how long, I assume you're planning ahead, it almost looks like a whole other brick lane. Got 4 to 6 classrooms. But you're still real full. I mean, there's nowhere for 2,000. Can't you just kind of build a universal size room like you don't see? Why does it have to be small? Why can't they all just be? This should be the other need to reconfigure, so that's what I have an issue with. It's like you have to have it as a village.
2,000 square foot, it's 7 now. 2,000 square foot.
Big enough room for multiple. Oh, yeah. He said this is 2,000. That's, yeah, compared to like a 4,000, you're gonna cut that price in half by a.
So one of the things I hear from
So they're not gonna change the other.
Big gym.
are really into performing arts, they say they're wrong, it's terrible.
That's the big one.
It's just not good.
So,
4 million acoustic.
I mean,
You're thinking more like it's the rain, like it's not gonna work for everybody else.
Not for the common, it's the extra, so, for you, it's a gym or the village.
Classrooms, I'm sure. Well, yeah, because there's no room.
Staying as tomorrow.
Like the sound engineer, designing team, talk about CenturyLink filled so dead crowds when they're not seen anymore because they brought the sound engineer and they had to maximize on-field noise from the stands. And they built that into the design, so I think he's aligned to that. Think about doing something like that. So I would be sure.
Because we need 6 classrooms. Yes.
Not if we don't, if we stay.
Give me a lot of speakers, then you can sound
Yeah, 2 classrooms, they were supposed to be students.
It's cheaper, or he asked that, they did it cheaper. Or build a gym, he said the gym is a box, or they built a new common. Get rid of it, because of the way
we got room as far, I mean, that auditorium stuff is Fit all the district staff set up. I mean, now it's
Complaint was lunchtime.
Yeah.
When he's gonna pass go back.
I know, you still can't even remember that, but you just got a real better place than everybody else.
Well, you can start to go back. The gym's down for 12.
Jim?
Same multi-purpose one.
So I grew up in China, and the town version was called, it was about the size of the fellow, a little smaller. But when they built their high school, it was a few years ago now, but they have a floating gym floor and a full auditorium. And the community supported it because they have a large community theater up there. That the town supports already. So, the school just said,
Gym,
this will be able to be used by the community theater for our cost. So it's kind of that.
I don't see a problem with it. Why can't you?
that breakfast built, it's just breakfast.
Those bonds, you're gonna have pieces to it.
Because if that were the case. How much did you say?
Everybody that was there, folks, like 6 figure, it was every. It wasn't say about, like, money was 6 different. So three. When we have a PLS, it's required.
So, street is the exact same.
It had to do with my saying that.
You said gym, multi-purpose.
The 6 bond proposals. That's what I'm not saying. Pay for 6 filings. 3
Classrooms are important.
It's gonna be like what Ross Pro said.
Sixth grade. All seven, we got 6 and 6 grades. All two, and then they have the skillet, so he's gonna go there, and it's really not that. And all of those seven, all of those buildings, wait,
And that's things that might be considered.
at least because of, you know, all the stuff that we're sharing.
I believe they are, I'm not there, but I believe they are. They're sharing one, I believe so. Because it's just the opposition.
I can't remember, is it kindergarten or first grade that's huge, and the next year's gonna be
But,
kindergarten. Kindergarten was 5, five kindergartens, and there's
one of your points.
No, so yours is, right, yours is, there's 6,
Southern Oregon,
one's in Florida.
I said the kids are smaller.
bottom.
This is huge.
Literally built a bridge over a
27 kids.
small river.
Yeah,
It's actually the kid at the property
Then
taxes.
South Africa is only.
They knew that when they thought about it, obviously, well, they ran a bond with two
And it
parks.
jumps down to
One built for one built in high school.
They built that.
Well, most probably something that's good now.
That's where the high school.
And maybe 85, that's what I don't know.
If you do 6 classrooms, again, you're basically doing the same as Hiawatha. So it's 4
Anything can still ever happen. One protocol. Then they come back out here across the bridge and people are like.
I would assume gym first.
Those portables are double
Formal just.
The office is in a safe, in a
I know we'd like to be out of the board, but because those portables are not, I've been in both. What I would say about the one thing about these are at least nice and they're clever, and they're close to water. They're speaking, they're not really close to the building. There are those ones that are the internal, and you got little kids stuff. Yeah. I mean, that's what share around here, or they want to go over to
So like with this, you would have to not go to 2, it'd be 2 or 6.
Yeah. We gotta keep girls right, you still.
Do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, it's gonna take a while before you go in.
Might be fast for me. I think it's not laid out the better than what I was thinking about. It was still going to be nicer and there are things I remember that they do together. My concern is causing the portable units. The portable units, the storage. Yes, yes. So, if you want, that, and so I'm concerned about the overcrowding because it's just going to end in this kind of issues, you know. We don't have them housed appropriately, and no so that's a whole other factor that's not really, those units is 6. Part of it is a little bit all I'm not 100% sure on that one, I know that classrooms that are conducive, kindergarten learning, so kindergarten is kindergarten and fourth, which is to be
A big.
I've been looking at, thinking of what that means. This year we'll do that a little bit. 62%. Years ago. The first 6 years prior, we're in Essentially, I think maybe there's a new trend. It's not really classes. My personal opinion is 50 students per class in high school.
So how much do you say?
Feel it now.
For what?
High school.
The difference in kind of 4 years ago, we really felt K through 5, those aren't really now. I'm convinced that
Let's say we're doing.
these are enrollments are plateau. Well, if you look at that on the health report, those all secondary level. And I'm not sure what else, I don't necessarily have something like 3 years to curriculum.
Class and bond.
Not every lesson is going to make us need some classroom. Probably not overall. We're not going to have
Doesn't mean it's not a vote.
No, I know that.
Inflating something for one, it's because you have 700 students in the school and you have 900, so you can put 200 in the elementary. Whatever it is, that's very simple. I don't have to do 200 more.
become.
I just meant like space wise, like how many square feet, we don't know that. Should I add?
Like the current middle school campus, they're just gonna pull.
From my perspective, a board member, the city needs to approve that. Yeah, I feel like they're gonna try to advertise it downtown. Because you have to think about all the semi-pro that actually wants to get there. If you build a facility, it's gonna happen.
If it's indoors, now we're talking.
Because you know how to put a big industrial type thing in. Because the city's not gonna be that space. Kind of where it's at.
Course space, no matter how many classes you have, your course space.
Fortunately, we just got big red monstrosity in the middle of town. Somebody approved that.
1,100.
Yeah, and we'll, I can't believe that happened from where you were with attrition.
We're not over 1,400, 1,400 students. 5 years. That's what we still take. And you're going to start getting CB Tech kids before that. But still, they're more body count right now in the high school.
So like,
Not FTE, they're more bodies, about 1,100. I used to walk out. The more you like, the more you start getting the CB Tech kids. So we're going to grade out most of the time.
so the same amount of storage in each building, or that still have to be added on a small amount?
Well, I'm guessing, it's doing this expanding kitchen and everybody was with it. But we just really
I don't, access to the,
Everybody was saying,
There's also some things related to
why we need to build a district for that level. Yes. We need to shift the focus to alleviating.
now, so that's just.
Restructuring, and I guess some remodeling that.
What he was trying to say, are you going to really do it?
The unfortunate thing is,
Like that.
like, getting rid of the 600, like,
Computer lab teacher does like a design thing.
can we expand a little bit?
I'm not against that.
Well, yeah. How much would it take?
I would say,
That's outside of that.
Stories, but you don't have the property to go.
what we need to make sure, go back to the
Your central hallway, to bump that out, towards that one portable side. You got the science thing on one side, and you got slide it over. I really don't need that.
We saw she was all
make this, make that the end of the. Physical and data is that too. There's so much space in between this, could be able to, that's what Ian said, you guys said, I mean, I don't know if it could be, well, even the entry, remember, there used to be open these, in the office and the room. That's how we got, I think it was, that was the first class over to go to. Yeah. And those were still, there's no good size room, like same thing, however, MMS. Basically, go taking out until we're not going to it, and I get that feeling. How many rooms do you call that?
You know, we don't really put it in spaces, it's gonna be 60 classrooms. If the preschool relocates, we don't need anything. If they stay with us,
Like 7 in Indiana, 6 classrooms. I love just the least chances, oh my gosh. I think it was huge. I think we're children like we watch
so we're kind of holding.
So like right here, over here, that would displace the one class from.
Right. Most of that we were just saying. So the violence issue.
The one that's the one that is different is the other you would have to have their action and have the authority.
Another school.
Purpose, no like is one specific assignment, those type of privilege, right? We're gonna model. A lot of science.
So the same number of all the kids, the difference is what is their
So it's 36 classrooms, 3 would be classrooms, 2 would be.
To make it special still work. Or however you do it, or.
So the science room.
So, you know, I remember that being one of the biggest. Still have to make it. And make one into the wrestling, because they need to competition to do whatever their machine has. So you listen, so you feel a little more
And it probably don't necessarily need Dr. KA, I guess, 800 students.
I feel like.
In my opinion, nobody should have in our school when our teachers have it one day.
We also have.
That's because my wife's dead.
Yes, everything. I don't know, I don't think I did.
So should we go look at this document and decide yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely. The library, you were on the library, we have it.
You need financial library as well.
I never saw you all get to a foot more for the state, somewhere in the song.
It is March birthday.
And, we saw only with.
All the different ways in the one I was just so then, Yeah, and she- Oh, yeah, I
Never saw any of that. You know, that's the only difference with that.
I like the idea of community.
We never had a set of people in that school.
But it makes it so
I have to say, really, when all it started getting, especially about the toilets and high toilets, well, I don't understand what they were complaining about before about sixth grade. Problem, for sure. For sure. I went for the first day, I was like, for sure.
One of the schools, we had. Stanley wants to get the ball down.
And then I would make sure that I locked my door and so all I do is get the same stuff, move it over and change radio lessons and things like that.
So you just do that, you just do it.
Yep, just to go now, on this.
Super fun.
It says an admin space.
They had the same deal in high
Is
school.
really admin, what you're trying to say. No, I never saw another library, although we had everything. In fact, like, we went here, we went back. Right, so all of this is small. I had some extra time during the. And they're having really good.
Or bigger, right? Busy at night.
Yes.
happy, like, I.
Sometimes they do that.
Basically, we state cases. Wait, it's like a so it was like a sixth grade, they were traveling. That's five, six classes.
I could also look at, kindergarten has 6 weeks of music in the middle. You could think out, you could think out of the box. It's so much added space, it's just add a step.
But I would like to know about it, because it's better terms.
For the high school.
So, you think I will?
It has makerspace stuff in there.
Right, and that's why I combined, since we have lots
I can house it for you.
are not pushing it.
But now, she has a bunch of.
They have to make some of this stuff.
I see.
I don't think you want to. There's, yeah. A lot of discussion.
Changing versus
Discussions on our current
shower
facility. I think our current facility.
More expensive.
It's nice, I mean, that easy to choose. Right, and you're only trying to do
The doors are already really great.
Was it some degree?
You know, we need
I put that portable, I'd be interested in classrooms and OHS.
you know, we take the square footage and it's all one level, you know, what's the price point for this?
Elementary school, you don't need to worry about the sport stuff on the kid, okay? Because I taught them how to take right.
Still trying to.
University class, we think. How about the workroom? Is that because she's doing stamping?
If they don't show up, it's
Space.
Is that actually agree? Down the two.
right.
You was good for food classroom, we got 20 minutes.
At least I
Big, what size?
We're ready to go for 20 minutes.
decide
Automatic.
what they think is the right thing.
We've seen it on the
I think that's what.
Ones that
Okay, you're presenting here.
It's not, no,
Someone you want to.
kind of say, but for this,
I think it's going to be 11 minutes, so I can't promise. Sorry.
how usually what's logistically better for the site. It's usually the driver.
Downstairs gets heater, he's going to go downstairs. There's half an HVAC.
Half an HVAC system.
What to do on the second floor too, and
Okay.
they go concrete on the second floor, all that.
Okay, so, unit K6, designated like ranking order for each one. Obviously, pre-K, we need a designated space, but we were told it has to be levy money, so we didn't know what to put there. For Wahidas, 6 classrooms, and we were thinking permanent structures, so we have the 4 non-permanent, so we would need those 4 plus 2 more. And then we scroll down. Excuse me, our ranking order would be gym, 6 classrooms, again, the portables would go, multi-purpose room, with storage, so that would allow space for STEAM, design thinking, art, whatever we needed. And then obviously the cold and dry storage. Same thing for Lutakaga, and same thing for Hiawatha. MMS,
6 classrooms, OHS. We ranked them in order.
Oh, good.
We started with the remodel and, fix me if I'm wrong, Tony said that the 10 classrooms addition could go along with the remodel. And then we thought the locker rooms were second most important because of the issue that we're having right now. And then the auditorium, and then a competition gym, because the auditorium could be used for not only the school purpose, but also the community. And then Desert Oasis, he talked about storage, and that could be an easy fix now. And then multi-purpose room, because they're using their common, or their middle space for everything. And then admin and cold storage. So that's our K6, and then K8, the only thing we changed was with our 6 classrooms, 3 of them would be designated as science, and then add a music room at each one and add a PE changing room.
So why a multi-purpose room at Juanita's?
So what we think of as a multi-purpose room is not like what it's written on here. In talking to Mikey, our vision of a multi-purpose room, because we use our commons for instruction already, that's used for like small groups. Multi-purpose room for us would be getting makerspace and design thinking out of the computer lab and library, because that's currently where they're housed. Like our librarian does design thinking in his lab, which isn't feasible. So then that space would be used for those two as well as an art class, depending on what it needed to be used for. Kind of like that video that he showed us 2 times ago of how that space can be changed as needed.
We had them figured at half the size of what Dax had, 2,000 square foot instead of 4.
So like the size of this, so that it could be, it would have storage for each one of those things, and depending on the period or whatever it was.
So you have all multi-purpose rooms at 2,000?
Yeah,
So, I would ask the question of equity.
They would all have a cafeteria, a multi-purpose room, and a new gym.
Every school had a cafeteria and a multi-purpose room.
Well, in the other schools, the cafeteria, the gym becomes a cafeteria in all the other
Add a
schools.
gym and a multi-purpose room to the other elementaries. Gotcha.
Correct. A smaller, a 2,000 square foot. Yeah, that's how you get to the 4 million.
Yeah, I wasn't running the numbers like you were, Tony.
any questions?
Yeah, we must have misunderstood too, because we just thought we were doing middle school.
I'm just, yeah, so, yeah, you guys are doing cheers.
We did it wrong?
No, this is on the teacher on this one. This is on the teacher for not clear instructions.
What were your success criteria?
I'm not paid.
At the same time, you guys didn't have to work.
All right.
Okay, for McFarland, we actually kind of have 3 scenarios. So we have, if it stays K6, if it stays the same, and the preschool stays in there, of course, we'll need 6 new classrooms. So basically what they had there, which was 1.5 million. If the preschool relocates, then, and we stay K6, then we won't need anything. K8, they would need 6 new classrooms, or, stay the same with the portables.
And the preschool would have to be looked at.
Right, and the preschool, right. I guess I was just thinking if it went K8, yeah, I don't know why I would.
You don't want to do pre-K?
I like the preschoolers.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cover the rest.
That's what we had.
So we covered the high school. I thought our number 1, and we all did come to consensus, so when I say I kind of mean we. So we said our first priority was to replace the 600 and the 200. I think partly the 600 wing is falling down, and needs replacing. The 200 are our two main chemistry classrooms, and we felt like to align with the instructional vision, we really wanted to make sure that when we replace those, we were replacing them with some really top-notch science classrooms that do everything that the chemistry teacher thinks they're supposed to do because they know stuff like that. But, you know, like, not just any room can be used for chemistry. So, that was high priority. That was our top priority. We believe our number 2 priority was an auditorium, because part of our instructional vision is STEAM, and that includes the arts, and we have no performing arts space at all. And I felt like that's really important for our high schoolers. The band and the chamber choir and everything, they're fantastic. The music teachers are doing a fantastic job at building that program, but there's no performance space. That was our number 2. Our number 3 was the additional 10 classrooms, and possibly more, depending on what got knocked down and where everything went, and if those were replaced in the portables. You know, that was a slightly fluid scenario for us, because we weren't sure without an architect telling us what can go where. We weren't sure. But an additional 10 classrooms was number 3. Number 4 was a possible outreach facility for DOHS that will kind of collect some of those kids that are actually currently dropouts, that we could get them back in school and also get them back in our student counts, which means state funding.
Which that would just require a portable as far as facilities goes.
Right.
Are you thinking like an open doors center?
He's the guy with the vision for the thing.
Ideally, if you had one portable, you'd have 3 offices and an open space. So,
Like open doors re-engagement is you provide, people can come between 8 and 5 anytime they want. Are you thinking that?
it has the potential, and it kind of matters on what the district's willing to do. Usually you have a 1-hour meeting period where you have to have a meeting with the teacher for 1 hour a week.
You're doing traditional ALE then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
but then there's the little extra room there, that's the open space that might have a parapro where a student can work the whole day if they wish. The idea is that it can help potentially suck up, if we can get some of those students back that are already dropped out, then maybe we can suck up 20, 10, it depends on how many we can suck back in, but then we can also relieve some of the stress off the high school, 50 to 60 to potentially up to 70, because with one portable, you're taking care of 90 students. When the math gets down to it, and it probably would house 20 of ours. So it's not really a DOHS so much as it also would control DOHS on what, it gives us a little bit more say on who gets into the day program, and so we don't have seats that are just filled with people that never even showed up for the first day of school for their day program. So it kind of helps both, it's going to help both just DOHS and high school.
So we put that at 4th place, and then we put the competition gym 5th. And we lumped the locker room in with the competition gym as a whole giant unit. And we put that in last. The total number we came up with was, it's like 23.6 millions of dollars. Yeah, so I had the spreadsheet going so we could keep track of what we were doing, but actually, and then there's also obviously the soft cost on top of that, and since you're talking about massive remodeling to existing structures, I feel certain that we're not gonna like cut corners on the engineering and architecture part of figuring out how to make all of that work. That would be complicated.
You could save costs with the demolition.
Right.
From what I hear.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Miss Ruby are getting hard hats when we're ready.
Especially that 600.
So I'm clear, when you talk about the 600, 200 wing, is your idea to knock that down, replace them with the same amount of classrooms? Or just knock them down?
More classrooms.
Well,
And the 10 classrooms separately.
Well, yeah, it would be 12 altogether. There's 10 in the 600 building and then the 2 in the
So
200.
your costs are those to demolish and then rebuild
Yes.
those another
Yes.
I'm removing the portables, so we would need 21 classrooms. We would remove 200, 600 portables, and we would need at least 21 classrooms. That would give us only 4 new classrooms.
Well, between,
But there is the idea that we go 2-story, and that could,
it's 17 classrooms between the portables, the 200 wing, and the 600
and
wing.
we
Right.
wanted 4 additional.
And then you wanted 4, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For additional, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just getting lost in the
That was just like, the 4 additional was just a guess on like,
expected growth.
yeah, expected growth and how many we thought we were probably gonna need in addition to make sure we're housing.
Yeah, we need at least 4 more, but if we could go 2-story in that space there, then maybe we could have more classrooms. 4 more.
Make it so you could
Right, later.
Yeah.
much of it.
It's an idea.
I'm thinking Legos.
So, yeah, so that was, but replacing the 600 and 200 with 12 classrooms to include at least 2 or 3 science labs was our number 1 priority, with number 2 being the auditorium.
And we were hoping for an auditorium that was bigger than what was projected on this,
Yes.
because our community needs an auditorium, right?
Yeah.
And so we were thinking that it needed to be much bigger than this one.
That's just awesome.
Yes, it was.
This is really
Very
made this a lot easier. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so we've got kind of a lot of ideas out there. I think just for the sake of time and organization, we're gonna need to present this to the board. I guess I'm gonna present this to the board. How would you guys like to go about this? What I think would be handy is for me to gather all this information from all 3 of these, kind of put a little something together. We have a meeting next time, just short, I kind of go, hey, this is what's up, any last minute additions to it, because you guys kind of set the list for your areas, except for the overachievers here.
I added pictures of your guys's, so it's on there.
Oh, done! Hannah.
Except you guys didn't add anything to the K-8. So like, unless you guys just won't change.
Right.
The high school, yeah, we
You
won't
guys
change
didn't
it.
say anything about what I had added for the
No worries.
elementary schools. Did you want to add or get rid of anything that I said? All I said, the difference was a music room and PE changing room.
So, I guess the changing room is because
science rooms.
6th graders.
No, it was K-8.
Oh, it was, so that was,
That's all I'm talking about, K-8.
yeah, okay.
Those are the only 2 additions.
Was there an art room if it goes K-8?
It was the art room, no matter what. Okay.
Okay. So do we want to have one more meeting where we get together and kind of put this last presentation ready for the board? Best board members, when would you like me to show up again?
Last board meeting would have been good.
Can I offer one thing? I'd suggest you put a subcommittee together to do the presentation, and then let the group review the presentation and say, we like this, we don't like this, let's change that. Because it's really hard to build a presentation with this many people, so, give them final say, but come in with something for them to look at.
Why don't you get with the spokesmen and create your presentation?
You were part of this.
No, that was you.
Well, I realize we're going 2 points to the board, I know we have a couple board members here, but I do want to be able to have not just 2 words of dedicated pre-K. I want something to go to the board with how Dr. Hirsch knows what growth we're making, what we're doing, the space we need, and it does need to be together. And I know according to Tony, it has to come out of other funding, but I want that to be on the board's radar, not just, which I'm sure it is, but I want that there as well as these other 2 things.
Sure, yeah. That's fine.
Say, do you want to do the,
I'll give them one that I've got, have one.
It's up to you guys. Now, we could have a representative, like if you're Luricaga, if you're Scootney, if you're this, we could all show up together as a team kind of to the board, and each person takes over their section and goes, this is what we came up with.
What's that time? Well, I don't know what I was believing for that.
I'm just gonna say, I'd rather hear when it's a finished product, and if you'd like to delegate to me to let the board know that this is where the committee's at, and that we should be able, we'll be hearing from the committee at a certain date, I can do that for you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, when we had a facilities committee when I was on board, it was a little bit like, because the board member was on it, they just kind of came and did the update, just goes, oh yeah, and then gave it. So I know. That's okay, I've got 1,000 things on my plate, man, and if someone just gave a call, I'd be happy to.
What's the meeting? Tony, we have a meeting.
It's Wednesday. I'll work on the presentation.
Is that a noon or is that an evening one?
Brian, did you hear that?
Yeah. When would you like, Wednesday the night, or do you want me to show up?
So should we, just kind of give an update to the board at this upcoming meeting and make the first meeting in January be the one that is the official meeting the committee presents? Unless someone from here could present at noon on the 19th.
What's our next meeting? Natasha.
Next one will be that Friday before that.
Yeah, and sooner is later.
Just give me a sub.
We could,
I'm always.
yeah, I was gonna say, we can have another meeting the 17th of this month to show the final project to the group.
Yeah.
And then we can present it to the board on the 19th, and then we's done.
Break, agreed.
Assuming that you guys can get at noon.
I'll get there if I'm allowed to leave class. I got lunch at 12:05, so.
If you can get there, make sure you're on the agenda.
We just put you so far.
And I'll have, David and I, how about we tag team this and we work with each one of the leaders of the schools to get the part of the presentation. That will be also, because you guys have certain guidelines that we need to follow for the presentation that I haven't been really keyed in on yet.
Maybe a time limit?
No, but isn't there a certain thing we have to have?
Just based on the policy, that'll be exactly what you're gonna bring, right? At least 2 options.
That's all right, is the list.
Yeah, I'll give us what we're good.
I'll tell Shai, we're good. Okay, so I think that sounds like the plan. Everybody okay with that?
17th at 6, we're gonna meet.
17th at 6. There's a run through the last gripes, noise, complaints on what we present to the board. The 19th at noon, we'll present it to the board, and that sounds like it's a wrap. Sound good? Sounds good. You're upset. Why were you my VP? Come on. You used the wingman this whole time.
Because I'm about action, and people are ready for action.
I was ready, I was on fire. All right, well, we need to